I had this thought in the back of my head that said, if I ask people to do something, they're going to hate me. The limiting belief was so strong that I didn't realize it was a limiting belief. And what I had to do is I had to reframe that. I had to realize, well, when people ask me to do something, I don't hate them. So why am I making the assumption that other people are going to hate me if I ask them for help? Hey gorgeous, it's Reese here from Yes Supply. I am the founder of Yes Supply and a trainer of NLP, EFT, Hypnosis, life and success coaching, and regression techniques to help you create your life that is rigged in your favor. And today I'm coming to you with one quick tip on how to delegate and how to ask for help and how to ask for support even when that's not something you're used to. And for me, I grew up with a very tricky past. Oftentimes when I was growing up, felt very alone, very different. I grew up in a single parent household. It was just me and my mom for the first about 10 years of my life. And then when I was about 10 years old, my mom got into a really abusive relationship. I'm not going to go into the depths of that. I have other videos and blogs where I talk about that. To say the least, I felt very alone. I would go to school and I would kind of like try to be upbeat and cheery when at home everything was in shambles. And so one thing that I really learned when I was in high school and in my early 20s was to have a really thick skin. And I learned that if there was something that I wanted to get done, I had to do it myself. And I never really learned how to ask for help. I think after so many years of having to do everything for myself and be very independent and get a job at a young age and start making money for myself at a young age, and even having my mom's ex at the time taking my money that I earned at a young age, I just learned not really to trust and to ask for help and to just think that I was the only person that could do things for me or that would want to do things for me. There's so many emotions that would come up when asking for help, and I still deal with them to this day. Luckily now I have amazing mindset tools that I teach and that I use on myself all the time, so that when these negative feelings come up, when I need help and I need support, I now have tools to help me deal with them. But guilt is a big one when asking for help, or asking for help and feeling like you instantly have to exchange it instead of having the belief that sometimes people just want to help. Sometimes people are just good people that love to support. And I know I'm the type of person that if somebody asks me for help, I'm happy to offer help. If I help a friend or give someone advice, I'm not instantly like, okay, now you have to pay me. Like, I'm happy to help. And so for the longest time, I had to coach myself and retrain myself to believe that people want to help me too. But I want to share with you a really cool tool or trick that helped me start to ask for help. So if you've been following me for a while, you know a little bit about my journey. I used to work at a retail job that I was not in love with because I knew that I was meant for more. And even before knowing that coaching is a business and a way to make money, I knew that I was meant to do something deeper and make an impact. So back in the day when I was working at this retail shop, I felt very stuck. I was job hunting for years, and I was seriously job hunting. I would go home and I would send out resumes and I would go on LinkedIn, and nothing was working. I felt very trapped in the retail industry. I felt like once you get stuck in the retail industry, there's no way to get out. I didn't have a business degree. I only had a visual merchandising diploma. I didn't have any office experience, and I felt stuck in this loop because I felt like I needed experience to get a job, but the jobs that I wanted wouldn't hire me without experience. So I was stuck in this trap, and I had to make money. I couldn't just go work for someone for free for experience because I had bills to pay. I live in Toronto. It's not a cheap city, and so I felt really, really trapped. And so what I teach in the Yes Supply method, and what I know, is that if there's something that you want to create in your life, you can't just keep focusing on what you don't want. You can't just keep complaining. You have to get really clear on what it is that you do want. So I started to ask myself, what do I want? I know that I don't want this retail job, so what kind of job do I want? And it's so crazy because I started to create a picture in my mind. Before I knew that Yes Supply existed, or before I knew that I could do it, I created a picture in my mind of me working in an office, but not just any office. I wanted it to be fun. I wanted it to be upbeat. I wanted to be surrounded by cool, inspirational people. So I had a feeling that it would be kind of like working in a startup, not like a corporation where you had to wear a suit. I had this vision of this fun atmosphere and environment that I would work in. And so reverse engineering that end goal of me working in a cool office all the way back back to where I was working in retail, I realized that somebody who worked in that kind of company probably wouldn't look at a resume and say, oh, you're a sales associate, you're a perfect candidate. They would probably want someone who had managerial experience. And so I realized, okay, if I can't get out of retail, then what I need to do is start moving up in the stream that I currently am in. And so I was in sales, I was doing really good at sales, and I asked if I could become a manager. And it was this interesting situation because they didn't really want me to become a manager because I was such a good salesperson. But I knew that if I wanted to get out, I had to push for myself. I had to ask for more. I had to really get clear on what it is that I want and start to demand it. And so I finally, after pushing and following up and asking again and proving myself and acting like a manager rather than continuing to act like a sales associate, I finally got promoted to being a manager at the retail store that I was at. And here lied the problem. Because as a manager, you're not supposed to do it all by yourself. It takes a village. You're supposed to delegate. And remember me, I had a lot of fear about asking for help. I had a lot of fear about delegating. I had this thought in the back of my head that said, if I ask people to do something, they're going to hate me. That was a limiting belief that I had. If I ask people to do something, they're going to hate me. The limiting belief was so strong that I didn't realize it was a limiting belief. It was a fact in my world. I just felt like I lived in a world where if I asked someone to do something, they're going to hate me. And what I had to do was I had to reframe that. I had to realize, well, when people ask me to do something, I don't hate them. So why am I making the assumption that other people are going to hate me if I ask them for help? And it's always such a good idea if you're thinking that you might have a limiting belief, or if there's something that's coming up for you that's getting in your own way, put yourself in the perspective of another person, of your mom, of your boyfriend, of your friend, of your brother, of your coworker, whatever it is, and say, if that person did it, would they have a negative impact? If that person asked for help, would they be negatively impacted? If that person went for that promotion, would everyone hate them or show negativity to them? And if the answer is no, then why are you thinking that for yourself, right? So that's such a great reframe to do. So I realized I wanted to become a manager and I needed to start asking for help. And what I found, a really cool little secret, was how to ask for help in a way that's not so demanding. And years later, when I learned NLP and now I train in NLP, I realized how that worked and why that worked for me. So what I started to do, if we were at our retail job and we needed to clean up the store and we needed to fold a whole bunch of sweaters that we could get out on time, I realized that it was so hard for me to say, hey, can you fold the sweaters? Or hey, go fold the sweaters. So what I started to do is I would mix in the things that I wanted people to do with a question. So I would ask a question like this: hey, would you like to fold the sweaters? Or would you be happy to fold the sweaters? Or how would it feel if we folded the sweaters so we could get out on time? And what I realized was by asking these passive questions, I was still getting people to do what needed to happen in order for the store to run efficiently. Like, hey, how do you feel about folding the sweaters in the next 5 minutes so that we can get out on time? Would you like to go work with that client or go work with that customer that walked in? So rather than saying, do this, go fold the sweaters, do that, go talk to that client, I put it in a form of a question and everything changed. And it was such a huge breath of fresh air for me because I was like, oh my gosh, I can get things done. We can move forward. I can work as a team and people still like me. It was such a good realization for me. And now that I teach NLP, I realize NLP is neuro-linguistic programming, and it goes into the programming language of the mind. And it talks a lot about language and how we can use language to be more influential, to help people create change and transformation. And it shows us what's happening behind our language and how we can speak in a way to help us get closer to what it is that we want. And so what I learned was that the questioning syntax, so the form of a sentence in the form of a question with a command tonality, so spoken in a way that you're giving a firm command, is the most powerful use of your language. So if you say, can you fold the sweaters? That's kind of powerful. It was working here and there. But if I say, can you fold the sweaters now? It's still a question. It's a sentence in the form of a question, but I've lowered my sentence at the end in the tone so that it's given in the form of a command. And it's very, very powerful, right? So that's something that I teach in NLP, and that's something that helped me before I even knew what NLP was. Become a better manager, become a better leader, get comfortable with asking for help and delegating, because if you want to grow a business, if you want to grow a team, if you want to get to the next level, you cannot do it on your own. It takes a village. And asking for help, being comfortable asking for help, being comfortable asking for support is how you're going to get there. So let me know in the comments if you're going to try, first off, asking for help when you need it. And if you're not comfortable commanding help, saying, do you want to do that, or do this, or do that? Instead, put it in the form of a question and see how people are so happy to support you and so happy to help you, and you no longer have to do everything on your own. So if you love this and you want to follow along with me on my journey, as you can see right now, I'm in Paris. Well, you can't really see that I'm in Paris, but right outside my window is the Eiffel Tower and the Arc de Triomphe. I'm in Paris in my hotel room having an amazing time here. And then next I'm going to Barcelona before I go home back to Canada, and then off to LA. I'm just traveling the world and really, really enjoying my time. So if you want to follow along with me, head to my Instagram at YesApply and follow along. I'm always posting stories of where I'm at and all the things that I'm getting up to. And if you're going to try giving suggestions to people of help and support that you need and put them in the form of a question, let me know in the comments below how it works for you. I can't wait to see how you use this to help you become a leader in your life and get to the next level. And make sure to hit the subscribe button and click the notification bell so that you get notified when I come out with new videos to help you create your yes in life and live your life that's rigged in your favor. So I love you so much. Thank you so much for watching to the end, and I'll see you in the next video.